Okay, so when the original Galaxy Z Fold came out, I wanted it. I needed it. I had to have it so bad. But on my hourly pay and part-time of $16.50 an hour at the Apple Store, I couldn't afford it. That's right. I was an Android user at the Apple Store. And for most of my tenure at Apple, I used an Android phone. Pretty much everything at Apple needed two-factor authentication. So during appointments, I will pull out my Android phone and just mind fucking customers all day. They would always look at me like, bro, you work at Apple, but you're using an Android phone? Just blew their minds for some reason. It messed up one guy so bad that he immediately left the store, went to the top of the parking garage and jumped. No, I'm just kidding. It was a fun time though. It was a fun time. But we're not here to talk about Apple. We're here to talk about the Galaxy Z Fold 4, which I now currently own. I never owned 1, 2, or 3. So this is my first Fold device, and I've had it for somewhere around just a bit over 2 months. Now this video isn't gonna be some crazy like extensive video about all the specs and everything. I thought about doing that and I was very close. I was writing out the script on how I wanted to do it, but I'm like, this phone's at what, like its half-life, somewhere about 6 months old, I'm pretty sure. At this point in time, if you were interested in the Fold, I'm pretty sure you've watched all the most badass videos from Linus, Michael Fisher, Marquez, and anybody else that's super dope and popular in the tech space. Also, fair warning, if you're one of those people that likes everything to be pretty, this video is not going to be pretty because I don't have a camera right now, so I wasn't able to get any Z Fold B-roll like I really wanted to. And I had some really good ideas for B-roll because I'm pretty decent at product B-roll for some reason. Today's video was really just going to be about, I wanted to, being a person that works a normal job, tell you guys why I actually think the Z Fold 4 is worth it. So I want to try to challenge your thinking just a little bit. When I say the Z Fold 4 is worth it, don't think of the price and why the phone's not worth it. Because if we think of it that way, I would agree too. And before I got the device, I pretty much thought the same thing. But it's one of those things that you just kind of gotta experience, right? If you're on the outside looking in, of course you're gonna say it's not worth it. Or you're gonna be the person that says, I really want it, but I don't know if I can justify getting it. Well, I can say, after having experienced it for over 2 months, this device is worth it. It's really, really worth it. And I don't want to just sound like some type of fanboy or super biased, but it's a great device. Now, depending on your personal situation and why you might use it, that will play a huge factor in whether or not you should get the device. So I definitely don't want you to get it if you aren't going to use it the way it needs to be used. So first, for me, it's worth it because I use it for everything. This phone is my camera, my computer. I'm in a situation right now where I don't have a camera and I don't have a computer, right? Normally I like to edit from a computer and I definitely like to have a dedicated camera. I'm not the type that likes to film from a phone. I can, of course, but to me, it just doesn't feel as, I don't know, fun or inspiring to just shoot from your phone. It's doable and a lot of people like it and a lot of people, that's their thing. But me, I like to have a dedicated camera. It's just better. But in the situation I am right now, I just can't afford it at the moment. And you might be thinking, yo, the Galaxy Z Fold 4 is $1,700, dude. That's cheaper than a camera and a computer. And you would be right, but I got the device for $0 down. So I really just paid the taxes, and the taxes for this device is much cheaper than a brand new computer and a camera. So yeah, this device is pretty much my everything. My camera, I use Cubasis 3 to actually record music. And luckily, about a month after getting this device, LumaFusion finally was available on Android. To me, that was one of the biggest issues I had when it came to Android. I love Android over iOS, but I used to have to lean towards iOS when I was in situations like I am now because iOS had all the better apps for creating. But now that's changing, especially with LumaFusion. I've edited so many really, really dope videos on LumaFusion. Now you might be thinking, yo, you could do all of that on a cheaper device for like half the price. And you're right. Maybe I could have got the S22 Ultra, although that's still expensive. It's still a lot cheaper than the Z Fold 4. But the thing is, when you open this device and you put it in tablet mode, there's so much real estate that makes it much easier for editing videos, editing music, editing photos that you take. And trust me when I tell you, I've edited videos and music, recorded music on an iPhone SE. I can get it done, but it's not fun. You don't have to be a creator to take advantage of this device. Having that extra screen space has obvious advantages, media consumption, productivity type stuff. All right, another good reason this device is worth it, in my opinion, battery life. The battery life is solid. It's good, not great, but it's definitely solid. Another reason I think the device is worth it. This phone is a lot more durable than you were led to believe, or a lot more durable than you would think. For whatever reason, before I owned it, I just couldn't fathom this device being durable, right? It was hard to picture like how I was going to use it. Like when I first got it, I got a case immediately, and I never, ever, ever buy phones from any phone store ever because they're always overpriced. Like I go to Walmart immediately after usually, or I order something off of Amazon. I'm trying to spend $20, maybe $30. $30 is pushing it. I do not want to spend a lot on a damn plastic case. I don't care how nice it is. Every now and then there'll be a nice case that'll get me and I'm like, it's worth it. But this time I didn't want to take any chances because I just didn't know what to expect. The honeymoon phase is over. I'm not babying this phone. Now, am I careful? Yeah, but in a common sense way. I'm not like overly protective, like, you know, setting it on a fucking cushion or something like that. I use it like a regular phone, and I have discovered that it is no more breakable than the phone that you always use. So as long as you use the device with common sense, you're likely not gonna break it. And as far as the outside of the device when it's closed, you're good. Is it thin, slim, and super sleek and slippery? Yes, but no more than any other device. Grab the S22 Ultra, thin, slim, super sleek. You drop it without a case, probably gonna crack the front display. Same thing with this device. You drop it, you might crack that front display. You're gonna put some dents in the body, obviously, if you drop it, but it's a thick, nice, heavy phone, which I like. I love a hefty, heavy feeling phone. I hate it when phones are too light. It just doesn't feel right to me. With that being said, this is the only phone that I feel better with using a case. You know, most phones, like you kind of like want to use it without a case because it looks so much better. This phone looks really nice without the case, obviously, but to me, it doesn't work well without the case because the phone being as thin as it is and how slippery it is, when you try to open it, you kind of have trouble opening it because of how slippery and slim it is. When you have a case, it gives you an extra grip and it makes it much easier to function with the device on a daily. So definitely get a case. You can be cheap if you want to, but I don't recommend using it without a case. To me, it just doesn't work as well. Cameras. The cameras are pretty good. Like I'm shooting this right now, pro mode, 1080p, 24 frames per second. And I've shot some pretty good video doing other stuff. And I've gotten some really, really good quality out of it in auto and even better in pro mode, obviously, because you got a little bit more control. But it's not bad, and it does pretty decent in low light for video. Pictures surprise me. Pictures actually come out really, really good. I've done some low light photos as well. Like I said, I'm not getting too technical. If you want to see like the camera reviews, pretty sure a lot of other people have it posted. But as far as cameras go, you won't be disappointed if you like the way this video looks. This whole thing was shot on the Z Fold 4. Another reason I think the Z Fold 4 is worth it is it's just fun. It's one of those devices that like I don't think you'll really ever get tired of. Like when I have a regular kind of candy bar style phone, even if it's like the top notch, super badass phone, after a while, it just kind of, it's just okay to you, right? You look at it, you get used to it, especially when it's in a case. The case kind of dulls that sexiness, you know what I'm saying, that a phone usually has. But this phone, man, it just stays interesting. And that's a good thing because if you have a phone that you're continuously interested in, you're more likely to keep it for a longer time. Like, I don't plan on switching from this device ever. And I know I'm doing a tech channel, so I'm probably going to have to test other phones if I want the channel to be successful, of course. So I'll definitely try to get a second line to get phones for that, because this is going to remain my daily driver until the Z Fold 5 comes out or whatever other super dope foldable drops, because I just can't get tired of it. And that's a great thing. When you have something that you're not really getting too bored of, that you're always going to find useful, you're more likely to keep it, which to me makes it worth it because you're getting the full use out of it. Like, man, that phone was expensive, but I used the hell out of it. So at the end of this phone's life, whenever people say, dang, you had that phone was expensive, I'm like, yeah, but man, I did everything on that device, man. There's nothing I didn't do. And to me, that's the most important thing. That's what makes anything worth it. Because everybody can kind of say something's not worth it or something's overpriced. But we all have hobbies, right? I have friends that spend crazy money on shoes that to me ain't worth it. But to them, those shoes are great. Like they love to have them and it's worth it to them. So even if the device isn't actually worth the money you're being charged for it, if it works for you, you're enjoying it and you're getting a use out of it, then it's worth it, right? Compared to getting a phone for $500 that you really don't like, you kind of hate, you end up just kind of tossing around, you don't really use much. Now, if you're thinking about getting this device, remember what I said. I definitely don't recommend it if you don't plan on doing much with it. If you just want it because it's going to look cool, like, oh yeah, I want to be able to fold and unfold, you might not have much use for this device if you're not like into watching content on your device or creating content or doing productivity type things on your device. If you don't plan on really using it and you're just going to use the main outer display all the time, then you probably shouldn't pick this up, because obviously if you're just going to use the outer display, you might as well just get a wider phone, because the outer display is a bit narrow. It's very usable, nothing's wrong with it, but if you're only going to use that, then you're not going to get any good use out of it. So although I am biased and I think this device is great, I do recommend it for people that plan on really using it. Use the device. Don't try to like baby it or try to keep it mint, so that way you can have a great resale value. Like, I'm not saying not to take care of it, obviously take care of it, but use it, man. That's why you have it. I'm not worried about trying to resell the device, man. I got it because I want it, right? So like I said, nothing too crazy, nothing too extensive. I just want you guys to know why I, as a regular person who's not getting free devices and who does not have a crazy amount of money to buy new devices, thinks this super expensive phone, the most expensive phone on the market outside of like, I think the Xperia Pro, and why I think it's worth it. But that's it. I'm Darnell B. This was Tech on My Dresser. Peace.